This section is all about one of the best parts of SketchUp, which is SketchUp's 3D warehouse. To get to that, you can click on the first blue icon here, 3D warehouse. And you do need to be connected to the internet to use the 3D warehouse. So you're watching this course. Of course, you're connected to the internet right now, but just know if you're on a plane ride or road trip or whatever using SketchUp, you do need the internet for the warehouse. Okay, so here is the homepage of our 3D warehouse. So the 3D warehouse is constantly changing, evolving. SketchUp works on it a lot. So if you're watching this in the future, after I record this, of course, it may look different if you're watching it a few months or a year down the road. If you're seeing something different, that's okay. The function of it is going to be the same. This is where we're going to find objects to download and place in our 3D models. In our case, we're going to be looking for a king-size bed, nightstands, artwork, mirror, just pieces to fill our design and make it look more lifelike so that we don't have to draw each of those pieces ourselves. The great thing about the 3D warehouse is that anybody can upload something to the warehouse. So there's lots of really great 3D modelers out there uploading their objects for us to use in our models. And that can also be the downside of the 3D warehouse. As you'll see when you search, sometimes there's just some junk in there to sift through and it can be a bit much. So SketchUp has added some filters for us to make it a little bit easier to search. So let's go ahead and dive in. In the search bar here, I'd like us to type king bed, enter. And so you'll see there's a few beds that are quickly populated. We've got over 1,500 models available to download. So let's talk about our search parameters. We can click on filters here, and we can filter by products or models. So products are models by verified companies. And that is a really helpful way for us to kind of narrow down the search to models that have been pretty much like vetted by SketchUp. And then models are just uploaded by individuals. But I don't think that we should always discount this category. We don't necessarily want to completely narrow it down to just products because, again, there are a lot of really neat models that are created by individuals and they're uploading them for us to use. But for now, I'm going to click on products and then apply. And then you can also use this dropdown and move it from relevance to popularity or the amount of likes that it's had. So let's try popularity. And you can see, change the search, but it's not quite what I'm looking for. So I'd like us to go back up here to the top, leave it on popularity, and close out of products. We're going to take that filter off. So uncheck that here, or under filters, you can move it back to all results. And this top middle one, the Spencer bed, is what we're looking for. Now, if you're not seeing this, it just means that more has become available since the time of recording, and that's okay. You can just type in Spencer bed. Now, before we do that, I do want to point out there is an image search, and this is something that's fairly new to SketchUp and really, really cool. It's going to really change the way we search for things, and you can drag and drop an image here. So if you have an image of a bed that you would like to use instead, you can drag and drop it into this area. So we'll do that later using a chair, but I'm going to close out of this for now. Just know that it's there, and if you want to use that for the bed, you can use that. I'm going to click download. So this icon here, click download, and this warning appears. Load into the model. If I click OK, it's going to load it directly into my SketchUp model. If I click no, it's going to load it as its own file. So it will be a SketchUp file with just that bed in it. So in this case, that's not what I want, but sometimes it is helpful to keep and use for later over and over in models. Or if you want to just kind of check it out first and make sure there's not a lot of other stuff in the model, just because it, other people create these and it can come with like hidden objects or the file size might be really big or something like that. So sometimes I'll click no, but for now we'll click OK. And then as I move my cursor a bit, I can see that it's attached to the cursor. And it also came with a bit of baggage. I've got this really large image next to it. Whoever created this probably wanted this image to be the 3D warehouse image thumbnail. So we don't need that for our file, but I'm going to, before I delete that, I need to click and release in this general area because I need to set it down. If I hit any other key before I do that, I'm going to have to go back to the 3D warehouse to re-download that. So first I need to click release to set it. It should turn blue. And now we can deal with the baggage. I'll hit my space bar and double click into this group. You can see it comes in with its own bounding box. I'm going to double click and then select the image and tap delete. And now the bounding box is reduced to just the bed. I'll click off into some white space and take a look at what I've got. So it looks okay, but I have a hunch that it is a little bit too low. So if I orbit, I can see that the feet are actually down a little bit too low. From this view, if this ever happens to you, it can be helpful to just go below the building or the floor here, pre-select this object. So hit spacebar and click on the object so that it's the only thing we're moving because we're going to move it straight up. Tap M for move and click on the end of the bounding box here. Click and release on that with the move tool. Now I'm going to move it straight up, but I don't want to, just set it wherever. I want to move it just straight up the blue axis. So I'm going to hit the up arrow to lock that in so that it only moves straight up and down. So again, up arrow is the blue axis lock. We've been using the right arrow for red, left arrow for green, and blue is just straight up and down that blue axis. And now we can hover on the ground plane, click and release to set it. So we're still seeing the very bottom face of these feet here. And that's pretty much what we want to see. We know that it's sitting right on the ground plane. All right, so we're going to orbit around here. We're going to talk in a few lessons about placing this just exactly where we want to. But for now, I just want to get it in a general location. Next up, we're going to grab some nightstands and talk about mirroring an object.